sure do look pretty. And you'll see why I started out here with these roses for today's video. Creepers! Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you guys are tuning in and creeping with. I do appreciate it. Today, we're gonna keep on creeping and also keep on trucking. And if you know that lyric, then you probably are ahead of me. None other than the Grateful Dead, arguably probably one of the most famous bands in the world, actually played a show right here in the small town of Gresham. Yeah, it's pretty cool. One of my favorite bands, Jerrygarcia, Phil Lesh, hands down, so good. Ripple, Ramblin' Rose, keep on trucking. I mean, the list goes on and on. But right behind me, once at a venue called Springer's Ballroom, and the Dead actually played right out here. Stay tuned, especially if you're a fan of Jerrygarcia and the Grateful Dead. It's gonna be a good day. So yeah, all this brand new development, brand new neighborhoods. We got this beautiful pond here. I even have my tie-dye on today. And we're creeping over here to Ritchie Road, which was the home to Springer's Ballroom. Hosted a lot of music events, a lot of gatherings, and the Grateful Dead. I'm excited for this one. Yeah, when we first moved out here in the late 80s, this was all farmland and berries. And now it's slowly being turned into neighborhoods. But just on the other side of where we're at now, over here, once sat the Springer's Ballroom or Inn. A couple different articles that I found, kind of, some people called it the Inn, some people called it the Ballroom. Nonetheless, we're gonna creep over there now. I'm gonna tell you guys more about the shows, one in particular, the Grateful Dead. Alright, as stated, we are on Ritchie Road. Got all this brand new sidewalk, all these brand new houses. This horse out here this morning doing a little grazing. And most of all, this side over here is still kind of just farmland. And of course, people's properties, so we're gonna have to be kind of cautious. I don't wanna overstep any boundaries. Good morning. Just horsing around? Okay. See you later. Right here on my left, I had approximately, 8,400 or 8,300 right behind all these tall arborvitae's is where that ballroom would have sat. Springer's Ballroom had a ton of artists over the years, but right back in here is where that venue would have sat. It did burn down in the early 80s, I believe 84. But a lot of bands came through here, including on May 30th of 1969, this venue here hosted none other than the Grateful Dead. Like I said, arguably one of the most famous bands to ever really tour. They toured all over the world, playing maybe twice or three times in Portland. But their very first set, like I said, May 30th of 69, was basically right back behind all these arborvitae's at a place called Springer's Ballroom. We're gonna go over here and peek the camera back there. I'll tell you guys more. I found some flyers and some ticket stubs of that day. Poke the camera back here just for a second. A lot of people that I read their comments stated that the reason why the Dead and the person that put on all the concerts chose the venue out here, basically in this abandoned field. Well, there's a house over here, but this abandoned field now at the moment is where that whole complex would have sat. And the Grateful Dead did a really long set. I will insert the set that they performed that night. There was also stories of Jerry and the guys taking some of the guests back to their van to get well, as they said. Yeah, I found a couple ticket stubs of that night as well, and some recordings, which I also saw an interview and listened to an interview that jerrygarcia did about people that documented the shows. Is actually pretty smart. He felt like it was never really a big issue for people to, you know, record the sounds. He said once we played the songs, we were kind of done with them. So why not let the fans take the music with them, with a lot of their sets changing over the years and not really doing some of the same songs that they would perform. But they started off here with one of their favorite, I think it was Ripple, I could be wrong. But yeah, did a lot of their famous songs right back in here. And they went on to host a lot more shows and whatnot too. That would all happen back in there. I do see a residence back way in the back there. And I also found some pictures of, which I think they used for maybe one of their album covers, or maybe just the flyer of that show. And they're kind of sitting in front of this little like tree. And I thought, man, how cool would it be to find that tree and see if it got, you know, if it's still there, if how big it's gotten over the years. But yeah, basically right here, right behind me, and all this are provided now, I think is what you call them, would have sat that venue, Springer's Ballroom. Pretty dang awesome to think that jerrygarcia and the guys came here. They said parking wasn't that great. In fact, a couple of the times over the set, I listened to the full set. They announced, you know, make sure you move your Corvair, it's going to be towed and stuff, because a lot of this, you know, obviously none of this was here. Maybe some of these were just like fields and whatnot. But the reason why they chose to do it kind of out here in the sticks, if you will, is because Gresham and Portland had different legalities as to who you could have at your show. So they had an all ages event, all ages venue, and it was packed. They said that people came here from all over, you know, to see the Dead, and obviously they're following as well. But pretty cool to think that such a small little city as Gresham would host such a huge band. And that all took place right back in here. I'm going to go down here just a few, like about 10-20 feet from where we're at, see if we can poke the camera back in here and get a couple more shots of where they all would have performed that night. To me, that is so awesome. I definitely love the Grateful Dead. My buddy Kels is the one that kind of introduced me to them. Whoa! Holy smokes! That was not good. I almost just got hit. Dang, dude, that was not good. Dang, that was scary. Talk about Grateful Dead, grateful to be alive after that. That lady basically swerved off the road there and just about hit me. Anyways, I'm noticing this old school telephone pole. I'm wondering if this was used during that, but kind of just back here over by these utility boxes now. I thought we'd kind of just see if we could peek the camera back in here just for a second. Maybe get a better view of that field. Kind of hard to see through all the trees and whatnot, but yeah, back in there is where that venue would have sat. I'd absolutely love to have gone to that show. Obviously, I was born in '80, so kind of ahead of my time, but nonetheless, all that took place right back in here, Springer's Ballroom. In fact, I have to give a shout out to my mom. We were driving by here the other day and she said, oh yeah, they got all that new construction, they're building all those new homes. But back in the day when this was all berries, she said there was one dance hall, ballroom kind of place that everybody in town would frequent to, and my grandma and grandpa actually used to come out here to go dancing. So pretty dang cool that this is all, I mean, you know, obviously it's not, no one's using it anymore for the venue, but nonetheless, pretty dang cool that that all happened right back in here. What's funny too is when we pulled up, I did hear some chickens barking, or however you want to call it, and They used to actually call it the chicken farm because a lot of the kids that came, well, a lot of the people now that are adults, they said when they were kids they'd come out here with their parents and they were more intrigued with how many chickens there were, and then they realized that parts of the barn or the, you know, venue was an old chicken coop, so they basically called it the chicken barn or the chicken farm. Yeah, I can't really see too much. Or I mean, nothing's there now. It's all just farmland, or, you know, field. Ooh, sticker bush. If you guys have any memories or know somebody that actually went there, they may have some pictures of the actual venue. I would absolutely love to see them. Or if you actually went here yourself, maybe even saw the Dead perform, chime in and let me know. So this is kind of cool. Kind of just rode down this back road that I've never seen, and I was like, why is it all paved? I thought, well, it's a trail. So I took it, and it brought me here to this old dilapidated barn. So not the Springers, but pretty dang cool to see something old-timey like this. I love old barns and bridges. Pretty dang cool. I wonder if this had anything to do with the Springers. Interesting. Old dilapidated barn. That's neat though. Kind of gives you somewhat of a vibe of what that old venue looked like. We're here, and that venue was just back there, over there by those homes. So who knows, maybe this was at one point one of the entrances and they did utilize this for the Springers. Who knows? That's going to do it for today. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. That'll dial you into being a creeper today. You can also ring that bell. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. And if you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. Till next time, creeper out for now. Peace.